a name that sounded Persian, but could be Baltic. Sleep-deprived and adrenaline-fueled, Darius fought to remain focused. He had waited on a target in this manner countless times, and knew this would be his last major operation. Today's mark was arriving from Tehran. Darius had the man's name, but no picture. He scanned the airport foyer for Iranian counter-surveillance. Nothing stood out, but this was the former Soviet Republic of Georgia, birthplace of Stalin, and the legacy of KGB intrigue lingered. A veteran of the Cold War, Darius carried in his wallet official-looking documents identifying himself as an East European arms broker. Yet he was neither European nor a spy. Darius was a cop, an undercover agent from U.S. Homeland Security. Outside the airport entrance, an undercover Georgian policeman, playing the part of Darius's driver, waited beside a black Mercedes SUV with crimson window curtains. Embedded inside the car's rearview mirror were a camera and a microphone, ready to record conversations during the ride downtown. In the terminal, a dour Georgian from the Ministry of Internal Affairs pulled close and discreetly slipped Darius the flight manifest. He skimmed the two-page passenger list until he recognized a name. Darius suppressed a smile, folded the document, and gave a silent signal to his cover team. 35 miles south of Baghdad, near a city called Iskandaria, a cherub-faced second lieutenant from New Jersey set off with his platoon on a routine patrol. Seth Dvorin commanded Outcast Platoon, 17 men stationed at a major power facility near the banks of the Euphrates River. Lieutenant Dvorin was a Rutgers University graduate and 24 years old. This marked his 5th month in combat. Dvorin's men ventured outside like this virtually every day, beyond the barbed wire and concrete fort, clearing roads in advance of long army convoys. They lugged M4 carbine rifles, M249 light machine guns, and 70 pounds of gear, sometimes in Humvees, sometimes on foot, always alert for deadly handmade roadside bombs, or IEDs, shorthand for improvised explosive devices. The enemy hid IEDs everywhere, inside abandoned tires, paint cans, concrete chunks, dead dogs, boxes of candy, mannequins, behind signs and posters. The Army trained soldiers like Lieutenant Dvorin to scan for danger signs, fresh piles of dirt in a roadway, odd objects hanging from trees and electrical poles, or sudden insurgent signals, a flare launch, blinking lights from a nearby home, a single gunshot fired as a convoy entered a village. Lieutenant Dvorin also learned to look for things that weren't there, odd situations, like the absence of children in a place where kids usually played, or a cafe, busy one day, vacant the next. The enemy triggered IEDs in 3 ways: by detonating cord, timer, or remote control. The wired cords were of course easier to spot, and sometimes the remote control triggers could be thwarted by radio wave jammers mounted on the Humvees. But lately, U.S. soldiers in Iraq were discovering more sophisticated remote timers and triggers inside the IEDs, including, incredibly, products manufactured in American factories. Insurgents in both Iraq and Afghanistan were acquiring American-made components to help kill U.S. soldiers. And the growing evidence showed that Iran was smuggling the IED parts from the United States to the battlefield. Dvorin and his men didn't disarm the roadside bombs. They spotted them and radioed experts from disposal units. They didn't always see them in time. In Iraq and Afghanistan, at least 2,500 U.S. soldiers have died in IED attacks, accounting for nearly half of the total killed by hostile fire. In the coming months, 7 of the 17 men in Lieutenant Dvorin's platoon would be gravely wounded. 3 would die, killed by remote control IEDs. Once you go outside the wire, if you ain't got butterflies, you ain't human, recalled Private First Class Jeffrey Williams, who manned the platoon's .50 caliber gun and lost the use of his legs following an IED attack. Whenever the platoon ventured beyond